Welcome to Tuesday with me, Leela, and the pie. Here we are making music, making art, making life more creative and happy for ourselves and for you. Right on. Welcome. I'm going to say quickly hello to the people that are in my front row, and then we're going to get to work because we're going to talk about lyrics today. Holy moly. I know a lot of people have trouble with lyrics, but we're going to demystify it just a little bit today. All right, Thomas Christ. Hello, Legend of Lynx, Magical Mod. Awesome to see you. At Doug Kidder, you're jamming out to me instead of doing the responsible things and finding chords. Hey, why not, right? Semtex Cow right here in the house, the Boom Boom Kitty. Jade Star Music, here she is, our very star. Right up there, you've got my link tree. You can scan that with your camera and many good things will happen, I swear. But like Thomas says, there's tons and tons and tons of ways to interact with this channel, and he's got them. Seagull is in the house. Hey. And Heathen Granny. And anyone else? Don't see anyone off the top of my head, but I see that there are more of you back there in the lurking lounge, so I'll let you lurk as you lurk. And St. Bradley. Hello, St. Bradley. And we're going to give the kitty some treats. There she goes. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about today. Lyrics. What? Right? Let's start with basically why lyrics? Why do you have them? What's their purpose? What's their meaning? Now, these are the things that I found on the internet about this, and then I'll tell you my own. So they say emotional and storytelling and mood setting, to identify a song, to make a commentary. So let's see. They articulate your emotions. They allow you to feel. They allow you to empathize with a story or be angry at somebody. They can paint pictures. They contribute to the mood and the atmosphere. Like, you could not tell a story at all, and you could just sprinkle a few words amongst some very powerful music, and it gives you imagery, and that depends. So it all depends on the underlying stuff, whether or not you're going to, how much the lyrics are going to have to work, right? So it they help create a hook, when you repeat lines, when you have a chorus that you have to keep repeating in your head, or a certain metaphor or striking image that will give you kind of that. It just sets your whole tone, is what the people say, what they say. But what I say is that lyrics are a conversation. They're a conversation between the listener, the music, and the artist. So you're just filling in stuff that you want your audience to feel or know that isn't present, right? Hey, Eye, Hugh Caldwell. So, and then of course there's the technical stuff, there's a chorus, there's a verse, there's a bridge. So your lyrics are help you find your sections of songs too. And they've got to fit with your melody. They got to fit with your rhythm, the stressed and unstressed syllables, so when you sing them, they have to sound good, right? So your song might feel off if the words are just sort of stuck on there, right? Okay. Now, let's go to the iPad display. Clayton Von Kluge, what's up? Yes, I didn't have as much time as I wanted to get prepared for this because I had a lot of stuff going on. I have so much going on this week, but that's okay because this is something that I'm actually not half bad at. Let's go to my top app that I use for writing lyrics, which is called Rhymer's Block. And you can see that let's start a new entry. Let's go add new, right? So here you have like the title and the writing, and then there's things like there's a social media aspect to it. But when you use this I'll show you in a song that's already here. So let's see if I can find a whole song here yet. I don't know if any of these are full songs yet because this is my new one. So I'm just going to read these lyrics real quick to you. So this song is called Wash Me Dirty, and it's only partly written. And it's like, take me down to the river, dip me in mud, emerging with a slither, bitter taste of earth and blood. Wash me dirty, I'll never be clean. I'm just thirsty for the absolution you bring. So that's like obviously a verse and a chorus. So take me down to the river, dip me in mud. Now watch if I just throw on, here we go. If I just throw on this look, what it does here is it does your rhymes. River, slither, mud, blood. But when you place your cursor next to the word, right? You see river, and then right underneath it here, now I'm going to see right in between the keyboard and the rest of the screen, liver, shiver, giver, sliver, quiver, upriver, downriver, silver, differ, sniffer, deliver. So you don't necessarily, like a lot of people think you have to rhyme just like, clean, mean, seen, right? But really, sometimes it can be way more powerful to have a partial rhyme or a near rhyme. Hey, Jim Shannon, what's up? So here it'll just give you these ideas. And one of the ways that I actually do music or make lyrics is to do something which is called an internal rhyme. Hey, Matt Prokowski, Zach Thong, hello. Yes, Thomas says lyrics don't always have to rhyme. You've been trying to move away from that a bit yourself, right? Yes. Right. So we've got this intro, and I'm going to clumsily move to the next bit, where I'm going to tell you about some different kinds of ideas and practices, right? So these are steps, tools, and tips. These aren't apps or resources. These are like kind of semi-rules, right? So, or not rules, but more like guidelines to help you get into your writing. So the first thing I think that's important is it helps if you have a song. Okay, let's just grab a song in here. We're not going to use this. Let's just play parts of this song I'm working on, Disto Piano. Shh, Doug, I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's not done and it's awesome. So anyway, this is me and Doug made. It's 5 minutes long. And I'm just going to show you just a little bit here. You listen to your song and find out where your lyrics are going to go, even. So this is the intro, and there could be words in an intro, but this is probably where things start right here. So we're almost 43 seconds in here, I think. All right, right here, 53 seconds. Dun, 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 dun. This will be the verse. Na, na, da, na, da. Do, 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 na, da. Yeah, right? So we'll need some lyrics there. This one may not even, lyrics don't even have to have a chorus. So you see we're 1:33. This might be like a second verse in here. So then as you go through, right? You'll find, so this is a song that doesn't have a very strong, it's written linearly, so it doesn't have a really strong verse chorus or verse chorus pre-chorus, so you can actually impose your own structure on a song like that. So let's look instead at some common song structures. Common song structures. And you don't necessarily have to call things verses and choruses. You can call them A, B, and C. Whoa, what the hell is that? Why? Why is that? Why did that happen? Right? Okay. Common song structures. There we go. Yeah, it does. A deep Viking voice telling tales of Thor and Odin. I like that. So, right. Common song structures, are your frame, and that's where, so you can't literally write any lyrics without having a structure in mind, right? I mean, you can write a bunch of words, but you can't actually, they don't fit. So I've written tons of poetry since I was a little kid, yet still I don't have, a lot of them need to be rewritten and torn apart to be lyrics. So I'm just going to read these. Like, this is, I verify this with just my own knowledge from reading a lot of books about it. So your verse is usually called A, and then your B is usually a chorus, but it could be a pre-chorus. And then a C could be either a chorus or a bridge in a song without a pre-chorus. And then a D could be a post-chorus or could be the bridge, or you kind of see where I'm going here. So let's just talk about what each element is. So your verse tells a story, sets a scene. That's usually a simpler, kind of softer thing. I've been writing lyrics since I was a kid and singing since I was a kid, but I didn't learn how to write music really until recently, until the last 3 or 4 years. So your pre-chorus is like a transition. It builds tension and leads into your chorus. Now, the chorus is your main, catchy, energetic song with the most memorable melody and lyrics. It's designed to be catchy and repeatable. Like, for example, let's think about, we'll use, well, I'm trying to think of any song I have that has a really plain structure, because since I've been doing this for so long, I tend to structure songs really strangely, which isn't a bad thing as long as it does the things you want it to do. Yeah, you need a hook. Like, let's try Glass Wall. The words, sometimes it feels like a hard stop. Fuck off, Heathen Granny, with that shit. Sometimes it feels like a hard stop. Everything's a backdrop. Nothing is wrong, but I've been down so long. Right? And then there's your pre-chorus, an incantation chanted to keep the pain at bay, a litany intoned, everything that can go wrong. So then the chorus is, it's hard to fall with my face against a glass wall. It's hard to fall with my face against a glass wall. Background hum inside my brain, the things that keep me sane. Right? So that's your chorus. It's hard to fall with my face against a black glass wall. So Thomas says, this is why he likes to write the lyrics first, because you can really set up your structure before you play a note into the DAW, and it's like a roadmap for the music. Indeed. So this is an important point. You don't have to do it. You can do it in two different directions, right? All right. So now a bridge is a section that provides a turning point or a contrast by introducing new chords, melodies, or lyrical ideas. So let's see if I can think of a song with a bridge that I have. Jamie Lynn, hello. Oh, Clayton says the classic intro, chorus, verse, middle, 8, bridge, coda, outro are so instilled in me from listening to FM pop rock radio. I end up writing songs like this without even meaning to. Yeah, that's a good point. So you may actually just be interested in learning how to change it around so that it's different, right? I mean, really, seriously, it's not all... Damn, why can't I speak? I know Jade laughs because this is like my me. This is meanness. Meanness is forgetting the words in the middle because I've got so many things in my head. All right, so we've got the chorus, we got the bridge. Now an intro kind of sets your tone and maybe draws a listener in. Sometimes I like to use like spoken word stuff for an intro. And then an outro is a conclusion of a song providing closure. Now, what you may be able to do is, you may be able to, in your outro, may just be as simple as repeating one line of the chorus over and over again. Like when I do like Down for the Count. So if it says, I am not down for the count, that's the whole chorus right there. And so our outro is, I am not down for the count. And then like it's listening out, right? We got that. So let's go next to like common song structures. And then I'm actually going to talk about rhyming structure too, real quick while we're here. So commonly there's verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. This is the most widely used structure in pop and rock music. It's got repeated choruses and a contrasting bridge, which breaks it up. Then there's verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus. It's a common variation that uses a pre-chorus to heighten the build-up to the chorus. That creates a more dynamic variation. Jenny's here! What the hell? Oh, it's Brad's birthday today, you guys. Happy birthday, Bradley. Then there's chorus, verse, bridge, chorus. So that's where you start with your chorus, which can grab your listeners' attention right away. And then you proceed with your verses and then your bridge, right? The whole point is that it's your story that's being told. So AABA is a structure that's popular in earlier jazz and some rock music, consisting of two similar sections, A, a contrasting section B, and a return to the first section A. This is kind of what like Big Love is about. Big Love is mostly just like big love, a cozy blanket laid upon your land. Big love, a sunny beach, your toes all in the sand. This love is big enough. This love is what you want. Wish the world was covered with and smothered with big love. That's like A, right? You know? A. That's all A. There's nothing but A in that song. But in Sweet, which is also based on a similar progression or of ideas. It's got your A is I love your lips though they taste like pain. Can't wait to get in your graces again. It's kind of sick because I like that trick. Come on and give me just one more lick. Your love's as sweet as chocolate cake and twice as hard to make. So really, like it is basically it's all one bit, so it is kind of an A, but then it's sweet with two E's. Thanks. Hi, Easy. So when you have that, so basically, your love's as sweet as chocolate cake and twice as hard to make is the whole chorus right there. So that is kind of an A, but it is just a 12-bar blues. And then we go into the bridge, which is maybe I'm deluded, or maybe just too kind, or maybe something about you makes me lose my mind, right? And then back. So there's only one B part, really. So there's kind of A and A plus, and then B, right? And as always, when you're talking about music, you want to include something about tension and release. So your verses can build tension because of narrative progression, and they're not as dynamic. They're not as like exciting or moving. And then your release is your chorus, which gives you like it's like, here we go. We got to get in here, and wow, it's like. Just like I think even going love's as sweet as chocolate cake and twice as hard to make, kind of, it gives that payoff, that release. And then bridge. So you could just like, the end of it can be your release. It's awesome. So your bridge is like a new perspective or a dynamic shift because like in Sweet, the story is about a person that drives you crazy, but you're a bit of a masochist, so you kind of like it, right? And then and it builds that way, but then the diversion, the contrast, maybe I'm deluded, maybe I'm just too kind, or maybe something about you makes me lose my mind, right? It's just a musing that goes, and then of course, I love my life, but there's just one thing. Can't get you, and it makes me insane. It's kind of crazy how I feel this bad. Come on and give it to me slow and sad. Your love's as deep as Delta blues and twice as hard to lose. And then at the end, this is how I mean, like I'm repeating the chorus and changing it as an outro. Your love's as deep as Delta blues and twice as hard. Ooh, 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 ooh. Right? Right? Your mouth's so hot, your web, I'm caught, your skin's so wet, black. Hey, I've got your web, I'm caught as the beginning of a song lyric too. It's called Your Web, I'm Caught. I've got your venom in me. I liquidate inside. I've died and gone to heaven tonight. So, but how do you start, guys? How do you even move, how does this even start working? Like, how do you start? So, really how you have to start is with an idea. You have to have an emotion, you have to have a story, you have to have a concept. What the fuck do you want to say, people? Let's go over to Rhymer's Block and find out. Let's add a new one. There we go, Untitled. So we're just going to put, damn, I wish I would have brought my other keyboard here, but let's do this. So I'm going to put Untitled because we don't know yet. Somebody give me a theme, people. So let's say you start with an idea, you start with a theme, you pick an emotion. Maybe let's just pick an emotion. Let's pick, we'll use that as our title, working title. Come on, give me something. Let's see. Fear. So, and I'm going to be like, fear of entropy. Ooh, this is good. I'm going to go fear of entropy, right? See, look, we're going all right. And then like one of the things, here we go. Let's now we're going to look up, or we're going to look up fear definition. Fear, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Ooh. So a lot of times if I'm working on lyrics, I will do something like snap that. Then I get in here and then I come in and I go like this. Now I've got a picture. I've got pictures to look through, right? Now I save that to my photos. So fear, right? Fear of mismatching socks. Ambiguous. And now let's look for entropy definition, because fear of entropy is what we're doing here, right? Entropy. There we go. A thermodynamic quantity representing the unavailability of a system's thermal energy for conversion into mechanical work, often interpreted as the degree of disorder or randomness in the system, or lack of order or predictability, gradual decline into disorder, right? So we can also do that. And now I have a huge files worth of ideas. I might even let you see inside my album notes just for this. Entropy. So we've got that. Now let's see if I'm going to check my notes. There should be like album notes. Have things like syrinx, glossolalia, theomania, tongue of Eden, secret function of the code, compiles itself in spite of our incantation, kintsugi. The world is full of things more powerful than us, but if you can catch a ride. You can't have nationalism if you don't even have neighborhoodism. Your story based on actual events. Thanatosis, which is playing dead. Apoptosis, which is things that are useless, like useless cells, like self-deleting. Conversation that rhymes. Gotta burn shit because there's shit to burn. High in the public eye, chimp bonobo continuum, quick sex interview. You don't need new answers. You need freedom from needing answers. The storm will work it out as I toss and turn the pages. Slippery slope. Liar, lunatic, lord, legend, Loki. Staging the apocalypse. Loving cups. Show the plan. Lust scuffed. Velveteen rabbit. Tyranny of dead men. Panopticon. Look, right? Oh no, the dildo of your consequences rarely arrives lubed. Here and now and then. And then there's a bunch of pictures, and those are like things I clipped out of books. Seriously, this is kind of what we do, right? You're just getting there. All right, but now we've got fear and entropy. We've got fear. Now, let's go back quickly and look at that fear. An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. All right, let's get in here and let's start doing something. I'm just going to be just typing. I'm just messing, I'm just starting, right? So we'll get this is hard to teach. You may note. Let's see if this will make me be able to write. Let's see. Nope, that doesn't seem to work. Where in the hell is my I'm just going to close it and reopen it. Maybe it will give me my kind of hard to answer interview questions. All right. There we go. All right. Unpleasant feeling. See, I'm just right. I'm actually just literally like unpleasant feelings have me reeling. See, appealing to my deepest. Let's take fear now and see. Here's another tool that's in here. You tap tools and you can either highlight the rhymes or count your syllables or use a dictionary or a thesaurus. So here's my thesaurus. Let's look up fear. Concern, care, reverence, awe, veneration. God damn it. Bugs came in because I left the back door open. Fuck. Hate that. Fright, concern, care, and appealing to my deepest feeling. Oh, no. Appealing to my deepest core. Right? Now we go back up here. So one of my favorite, this will point out one of my favorite rhyming schemes. My favorite rhyming schemes are, so again, we're going to talk like A, B, A, right? So A is the same word rhyming with itself. Like, if you're going to have A, all four words in a common stanza would all rhyme. So I would be unpleasant feelings have me reeling. Everything is unappealing. Leaves me unsettled in my being. Like a cat, I'm going to be treeing. I know, like, right? I'm just making shit up, right? But you see, that's an A rhyme scheme. So, but I prefer more like A, B, or A, B. Like this is A, B. Unpleasant feelings have me reeling, appealing to my deepest core. So you have the internal rhymes. Deep insecurities revealing the sting of my skin. Well, I'm not going to put skin peeling, but I like my insecurities revealing. Appealing to my deepest core. Insecurities revealing. So let's see. Unpleasant feelings have me reeling. Now we're going to look. That's 9 syllables. Insecurity revealing. That's 8 syllables. That's not bad. You could probably sing a similar sounding line over both of those, right? So appealing to my deepest core. Again, that's 8. Or, unpleasant. Maybe if you could always take one out, but I don't think I like it. Nothing about me is typical old lady anything. Duh. Yeah, The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley. Yeah, and absolutely. Reading a bunch of esoteric stuff is awesome for writing lyrics. Even if you don't. For example, like I read this book about it was like, can animism be scientific? And it was filled with tons and tons of like thick information. And so from that, I wrote the lyrics to the song. The one I did was Statistic and Human-like. On the edge of emptiness, there is everything and nothing, dissolving into perfect presence. Oh, I can't remember. On the edge of emptiness, there is everything and nothing, dissolving into perfect presence, feeling breathless and eternal. Right? So you see that's very, it sounds very, that's the chorus. And so that was when we start with the chorus thing. So feeling breathless. Notice that doesn't rhyme. On the edge of emptiness, there is everything and nothing, dissolving into perfect presence. Emptiness and presence kind of rhyme, feeling breathless and eternal, but eternal doesn't rhyme with the other word, right? Insecurities revealing. And then, so now we go back to core and we look at score, core, door, for, war, gore, floor. Insecurities revealing. Ooh, maybe something about war or store, whore. War, shore, pour, sore, drawer, swore, tore, bore, roar. Right? Snore. Insecurities revealing. I like kind of war might work in there. Are we writing lyrics for Grand Theft Parsons? Probably not. For war, gore, floor sounds like a cool name for a band. Insecurities revealing. Leading me to thoughts of war, maybe? Why? What is wrong? Seriously, I'll be back in a second. I need to get my keyboard because this is driving me stupid insane and it'll take me less time to go grab it than it will to undo this. S'mores wars, right? Insecurities revealing. Now, see, I've got this. So I've got two. This is the one I use for the the Mac, and this is the one I use for the iPad. So insecurities revealing. And now you could use something you could use an internal rhyme with revealing or insecurities. Let's check. Insecurities revealing. Insecurities revealing. Let's go. I'm just going to, because this isn't the final stuff anyway, so. Now we're going to get this in here. There we go. Complexities. So insecurities, complexities may lead to war. 8 syllables, boom. That is a verse, right? Now the hard part is to try to mirror match, right? So I could just type. Like, that's just one typing into that. I could also just be like entropy, or we could write a chorus part. Entropy perpetually gives entropy perpetually places. I'm going to see now. See, these aren't good words. Places a wrench in the works. I try to get myself ahead, right? See, so places a wrench in the works, right? That doesn't fit at all, right? I try to get myself ahead. Though eventually we'll all be dead. So you see how I wrote a good thing and then I wrote kind of blah. It's just shitty, right? But I eventually, so if I got places a wrench in the works. There's another, you could just go in and just type, just like type in here. Put a wrench in the works. And you just like kind of look like a monkey wrench, right? Put the spanner in the works. You could just look stuff up, right? It's an idiom meaning to deliberately or accidentally cause a problem or disruption that prevents a plan, process, or system from functioning properly or smoothly. So you could go in and say, things like, let's see, I'm going to try to write something here. Going back where I was. Keeps life prevents me from flying. My parents were lying. When they said I could be anything. So now you've got words, and you can eventually get back in here, right? And just keep working. I have a lot of just lyric starts in here, like Ataraxia 2. This is Epicurus. When we exist, death is not. When death exists, we are not. Ataraxia is a Greek word for the feeling of contentment that is oh man, I am slow today. My brain is just cooked. Sorry. Ataraxia. Well, we'll just skip over that. We'll get back to it. So, this is my lyric. So, better that the gods are not troubled with me, and I remain untroubled by their ministrations, moving along in earthbound tranquility, no fear of divinity and its implications. Like that's some really complicated words, right? So if you were writing that complicated, in order to ground that back down, you would want to do something simple like this. Let it roll, baby, roll. Exactly. All right. Find a hook, maybe. Let's see if we can find a hook for this Ataraxia too. This is really complicated, so we want something really simple, right? No fear of divinity and its implications. Like, say if I tried to sing it. Better that the gods are not troubled with me, and I remain untroubled by their ministrations. Moving along in earthbound tranquility, no fear of divinity and its implications. Then you could do something easily, like grounded in myself. Delving into mystery. I like depth, maybe. Delving into mystery. Honoring my depth. So this would be like a chorus part. like grounded in myself, delving into mystery, honoring my depth. Do 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 do. Let's see. Accepting. So we're like 7 syllables. Honoring my depth, accepting insecurity. I like that. So that kind of this. So sometimes when I'm writing, I actually like think, oh, that reminds me of another song lyric I've got, and I pop in and I change that, right? So that's what we're doing. We're just like free writing, right? Free writing, free rhyming. I wish I could find my thing. I have a whole list of rhyming words that and cool sounding rhymes, and that's another awesome tool, right? Let's see. We need to make sure that I've got my other tips in here. So kind of try to figure out where your hook is. It could be in the tune. It could be in the word. It could be in a rhyme. It could be in an internal rhyme. Those can actually, internal rhymes, like the one where you rhyme earlier instead of at the end, and move to a different rhyme, to your B rhyme, and then take part of your B rhyme and incorporate it into your A structure. That's what an internal rhyme is, and I think it's one of the best little poetic devices. So as other poetic devices might be like metaphors and similes. For example, writing the song Big Love was all about not using any similes. Similes is like this is like that, and a metaphor is like this is that. So when I say big love, if I said big love is like a cozy blanket laid upon your land, that's a simile. And when I say big love is a cozy blanket laid upon your land, it's a sunny beach, your toes all in the sand, that's a metaphor. So different, right? And like when I say that, when I say your toes all in the sand, absolutely, I can almost feel my toes in the sand when I hear that. So that's imagery. Rhyming is good, but you don't need to do solid rhymes. You can do near rhymes, internal rhymes again. So repetition, sometimes you can actually just repeat a phrase over and over again, and it gives you that vibe, right? Just repeating words that none of them rhyme. Sometimes just a repetition or a repetition of an idea will give you a hook. So then you all, as you noticed, we went over your syllable counts. And the things like stress and meter, that would be like, better that the gods are not troubled with me, and I remain untroubled by their ministrations. Moving along in earthbound tranquility, no fear of divinity and its implications, right? So you can see how that's sort of like kind of smart, clever, I don't mean it like I'm so smart. I just mean it like it's wordplay. It's clever, right? But see, this song isn't going to work for a simple pop song. This is definitely going to be something that revolves around a complicated piece of music. Let's see. Another thing that's going to be really important is like at least singing or speaking the words after you write them. Going through, if it sounds good, but you say it out loud and it doesn't flow, then it's probably not going to work. Like this one, staging the apocalypse. We wish to live a simple life, abdicating to survive, striving on the endless treadmill, just a cog from factory to landfill. So treadmill, landfill. Yeah, striving on the endless. So it's like treadmill. Like, so the stress is right before the rhyme, if that makes sense. Ooh, this is nice. Pass the torch. Even in the darkest hours, superheroes in plain clothes shone a light when night devoured acts of robed compassion undisclosed. That might be too long right there. I might end up when it where it says acts of rogue compassion undisclosed. I might have to be like rogue compassion undisclosed, because see how many syllables this has? 9 and this has 7. So acts of taken out. It just depends on how your music is. You don't have to have the same set of syllables. It's just crazy. You just need to work and have it just has to flow. I know this is a super hard subject. I'm just trying to help you get situated in the vibe. In the vibe. All right, so the most important thing, honestly, after that, write, you can just write, and don't think about any of those rules, and just wait until you're editing to use the rules, right? So you just revise, you edit. If something sounds awkward, if something sounds cliched, if you have a cliche, you want to maybe make that cliche wrapped up. If you have to use it, you try to not use it. But if you have to use it, you might actually just be, you might find a way to make your cliche palatable. You might use it strictly as your hook, and then have more complicated words lining up to it. You might have like it's not like cliches are totally not to be used, but you want to find maybe a great new way to use them. You can actually start with the cliche as your like whole song idea. You could actually take a cliche and rewrite it as your thing, right? There's just so many ways to write lyrics, which is why it's hard to go over it in an hour. And instead of actually writing a bunch of lyrics on screen, I wanted to kind of help you go into all this. Hey, Go With The Flow Farm, what's up? So I think we're almost there. We've only got like 5 minutes, so let me show you a couple of tools that work. So there's apps called Lyric Notepad, Word Palette, Simple Songwriter, Rhymer's Block, which is the one I use. There's Hum. BandLab has some lyric writing stuff in it. Now for rhyming, and there's also Demo. But another one I use for rhymes is Rhyme Zone. Here we go. There's Rhyme Zone. Rhyme Zone is fun. So you just type a word. Let's see. Let's go entropy again. Now, look at all this. Related to meaning. So choose a relation. So here you can go. Now, if you put in entropy, you've got all these other words. This is related to meaning. You've got antonyms. There's no things. You've got synonyms. So that helps you write when you're in your thing writing. This is just a nice app. Similar sound. So your syllables, here's like letters or syllables. If you use the first part, N, gentry, in truth, interest, like entrance. It's really insane, right? Your atopy, centrally. So it's got way more than just rhymes. There's homophones, though nothing sounds the same. Same consonant sound, nothing for that. Near rhymes. Bellamy, Bethany, blessedly, chemically, credibly, dreadfully, ecstasy, embassy. And there's a free web version, rhymezone.com. And then actual rhymes. So there you go. Wicked, right? There's books. You can look at your library. There's things like Writing Better Lyrics by Pat Pattison, Songwriting Without Boundaries. Just look in your library. Like, we could actually, I've got a couple minutes. We could look in my library app, Libby. And we'll go to search and we'll go writing lyrics. There's Pat Pattison, Writing Better Lyrics. Songwriting Without Boundaries. Popular Lyric Writing. I Am the Wolf, Lyrics and Writing. This is 6 Steps to Songwriting Success. I've done this one before. I'm borrowing that. So see, the lyric essay as resistance. There's just Leonard Cohen books. Reading the biographies of singers and songwriters, awesome. Really cool that way. Let's see. You grab the Rhyme Zone app. Nice. There's Songcraft for co-writing, organizing lyrics and demos. That's a songwriting project management tool. And then websites. So if I just went, let's see, I'll be right. Lyric writing. Whoops. Whee. No, see, that it didn't do what I asked it to. Anyway, you can easily do that, right? Just Google lyric writing resources. You can join groups on Facebook. There's just so many ways to get lyrics into your silly projects. I wish my brain worked better today. This was an awfully complicated subject to cover on a fucked brain. But again, you just do what you need to do. This is one of those shows where I think that a lot will be vibed up by me taking and putting my notes in a post for y'all. I will do that, and you can find a post on my channel that will give that to you. All right. I'm going to say goodbye to my face because it's almost time for Jade. Come and say goodbye to my face. Here it is. Woo! My hot, sweaty face is here. Tomorrow, I will be doing my guitar thing with requests and all the things. There's going to be new stuff coming up in my channel, but we won't talk about that today. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. Thank you for the super sticker, Jenny Jolivay. And here we go. Jade Star's up next with Analog E, STR. Just keep your little hands inside the ride, and you should be automatically moved over. But I could have fucked it up. So make sure you got that, and I will meet you on over at Jade's, and then I'll see you again at tomorrow and at the Midnight Chill. So big love, everybody, and all the peace that you can carry, baby.